So my baby daddy took the kids away legally. My baby
Oh, poor
daddy
baby.
wants me to pay child support to him, and he's gonna chase me down for it. My
Shout
baby
out to
daddy
your baby
tried to
daddy.
get me jumped. My baby daddy apparently
Oh.
got somebody role playing, trying to role play me. And so much has happened since.
Tell us
And my
about it.
poor son is struggling in his transition, and he says that he
Transition.
hates being black. And so much more. So this is going to be a multiple part series, but I just thought those were the highlights that first came to mind. I wish my life was normal. Like, nothing happens normally. It's not like my baby daddy came with a fancy lawyer or anything like that. No, it's how trash my lawyer was. So how did I lose? So I made a Google Drive and I organized every piece of evidence, from the financial to the both physical and emotional. And I just organized so much. Then also how he's a shitty dad. I had all these different examples. Cool. So he was supposed to be prepping me beforehand. And the entire time that he could have been talking to me, prepping me, he was kikiing and laughing with my baby daddy about his career. That's unprofessional, unethical, and again, basis for a bar complaint as a victim of, and it's actually on paper.
If there truly was a conflict of interest there, that's bad on his part. So I call cap on you, especially if you decided to keep him as your lawyer. That's a goofy move. But I'm not going to lie to you. All things considered, when I look at the shirt that you're wearing and all the tattoos you got up and down your arm and on the underside, I'm inclined to believe that you're accustomed to making goofy decisions.
30 seconds before we get called to go inside, this lawyer goes, you know, things end like that sometimes. Hopefully the relationship...
Wait, hold on. And for the record, I'm not trying to bash a DV survivor if it's true.
Good. Can y'all envision, like, my panic when that man said that? Like, what do you mean? Like, I gave you a bunch of documents. I'm like, it was an abusive relationship. She's like, I didn't know that. Me, you didn't know that. Fast forward to the trial itself. As you can imagine, none of my evidence was submitted. 75% of the trial was about my baby daddy's career, which I had given him enough financial proof. He didn't need to dwell on it that much. And I knew I was when he was like, this isn't about child custody, it's about child support. Even the judge looked at him. And honestly, I could not control my body language. I'm definitely the type of person that if I stay quiet, my body does it, and it's just like... So you know how a lawyer's supposed to prep you, right? No idea his line of questioning. No idea. So when he asked me questions like, is he a good dad? Baby, I'm autistic. I cannot do this shit on the spot. I'm going to tell you the truth. And no, I can't read the room. I'm not a read the room type of... That's ableism. Like, come on. How was I supposed to know I was supposed to say he's a good dad? I don't know the game plan. I just know the truth. Then I can't even speak. And he also doesn't counter any of the things that my baby daddy says, even though I write in the notes to him. For example, the judge asked valid questions, and I see how I looked given the lack of information. So it made me look money hungry. Little does she know that I was literally left in negatives. And how was I going to pay it?
What does that have to do with your baby daddy? If you presented that information to the judge and the judge basically gave you the big F you, maybe, just maybe, it was something that was within your control that had nothing to do with him. Sympathy card denied.
I had to do a lot of things. I've been selling goods, all these things, and I have a rent that I can't afford. I have medical bills from Cade's pregnancy that this man won't even pay for. So he did not bring up anything pertinent that I literally had proof of. Like, I literally have proof that this man is an ecstasy addict. Like, nothing. The conditions of the home, nothing. Okay, fast forward. Why do the kids get taken away? 3 factors according to the judge. 1, distance. I am far from Cairo school, even though I work 5 minutes the street away from his school, but whatever. Which
makes me assume that maybe the father was closer to the school, which in that case, as far as the kid being able to get back and forth to school, it makes sense for the kid to actually live with the father. Continue.
Transportation issues. At that moment, my car wasn't fixed. It's fixed now, y'all. And then this one is going to be my favorite one, just because it's so ironic. But again, she didn't have the information. She believed that he would foster a better relationship. She admitted she didn't have much to lean on, and this was a difficult choice. However, based off of my tone, my matter-of-fact tone, and the fact that I couldn't even bring myself to say that he was a good parent, even though my lawyer was probing me. So yeah, that happened. Now this is what happened at the hearing. Now tune in for part 2 about the aftermath.
All right, I won't be tuning in for Goofy unless you guys want me to do so. Comment below and, maybe, just maybe, I'll stomach it. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go through the comments on her video. And here we go. All right, boom. So as I scrolled through, right, one of the main things that stood out to me was this particular comment by Shenene Jenkins. Yo, that's one hell of a name if it's a real name. If he could... All right, so this So this comment right here by Shenene Jenkins. Now that's one hell of a name if it's a real name. But if he could take full custody, there's a huge piece of the puzzle we are missing. Just saying. I went through a 7-year custody battle and I won each case. Sorry to hear this for you. Now, here's the part that's the elephant in the room that's not being mentioned, right? In most cases in America, when it comes to child custody, look, they're like 100% on the mother's side. So if you as the mother got denied with all the supposed evidence that you claim that you brought that they wouldn't show, which I don't believe. But anyway, if you presented all this information, spoke up for yourself, and the judge still said, nah, you had to be a horrible mom. And don't get me wrong, I'm inclined to believe so, especially if you showed up with something similar to what you got on right now, with your tats all out and just a I can't control my mouth or body language attitude. Yes, who would see it in their right mind that letting a child stay with an impulsive person who has no control over their emotions, right? That would be a good stick for the child, like a good place to raise a child in. I don't see how you could have thought that you would have won this. Not trying to beat up on the mamas. There's a lot of good mamas out here, but baby girl, in this situation, you're clearly not one of them. At any rate, if you guys agree, disagree, let me know. Talk back to me. Yeah. Hey, I want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody who's been rocking with me so far. But we're trying to take this bad boy to 1,000 subs and beyond. So if you can, go ahead and click subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way I can make the channel grow. And when you watch a vid, don't be afraid. Click like. That helps me out in the algorithm, puts me in front of more eyes, which means I'm able to stay here longer and give you guys more content. Let's go.